Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be giving my fight predictions on the whole card of Canelo versus Crawford. Let's get into it. Starting off with the first fight of the card, we have is Marcio Verde versus Marcos Orius Benacourt. Marco Verde is a young, durable fighter who likes to pressure forward, use volume, and drag opponents into gritty exchanges. His conditioning and toughness are usually his best weapons, though he can leave himself openly defensive with his overextends. Marcio Orius Benacourt is more of a composed striker with sharper counters. He tends to rely on timing and accuracy, picking up shots rather than overwhelming with volume. If he stays disciplined, keep the fight at range, and punish Verde's forward movement, he'll have the edge. At the end of the day, this likely comes down to whether Verde's pressure and cardio can wear down Orius Benacourt, or if Orius Benacourt can stay composed and land the cleaner, more damaging shots. But my prediction, give me Marcos Verde by a decision here. Next fight on the card, we have Sultan Muhammad versus Martin Carabello. Sultan Muhammad is a grittier grinder type. He likes to push the pace, working close, and use pressure to break opponents down. He got solid durability, and if he can get momentum early, he usually builds round by round. On the other hand, Martin Carabello, on the other hand, is more of a technical operator. He's sharper in his shot selections, a bit more measured, and can capitalize in someone comes in too recklessly. His issue can be when he forced backwards or smothered by consistent aggression. If Muhammad can distance and make it a high volume, high pressure fight, he probably grinds it out to a decision. But if Carabello keeps ranching control the tempo, he got the edge with the cleaner strikes. But for I have winning here, give me Sultan Muhammad by a decision in a close but scrappy fight. Next fight on the card, we have is Rieto Tatsumi versus Javier Martinez. Rieto Tatsumi, he's aggressive, fast, and likes to throw combinations and bunches. His pressure and work rate can overwhelm opponents, and is not too afraid to stand in a pocket and trade. The downside is he sometimes leaves himself open defensively, especially when he pushes the pace too hard. On the other hand, Javier Martinez, more of a composed technician, he's patient with a solid jab and good fundamentals, preferring to control range rather than brawl. If you can keep Tatsumi on the outside and punish him when he rushes in, he's got a clear path. But my prediction, if this fight goes to hinge, or whether Tatsumi's relentless pace breaks Martinez down, or if Martinez can stick his fundamentals and snipe him on the way in, leading Tatsumi by decision, thanks to volume and pressure. But if Martinez stays disciplined, he could steal it with the cleaner, more accurate shots. But my prediction, give me Rieto Tatsumi by a decision here. Next fight on the card, we have is Steven Nelson versus Ratko Santana. Steven Nelson, experienced, durable, and disciplined. He brings steady pressure, solid combinations, and likes to chip away round by round. He's not the flashiest, but his consistency and toughness often carries him later in fights. Ratko Santana, explosive and dangerous early with big power that can change a fight quickly. He's at his best when he dictates the pace and make opponents respect his shots. But if he can't find success early, he output tends to dip. Prediction, if Santana lands something big in the opening rounds, Nelson could be in trouble. But if the more likely scenario is Nelson weathering the early storm and taking over with pressure and volume, I'm leaning towards Steven Nelson by decision here. Next fight on the card, we have is Ivan Ditchko versus Jermaine Franklin. Ivan Ditchko, huge heavyweight, with a decorated amateur background, long reach and strong jab. He's dangerous at range, pilling up points with his straight shots, and he carries real knockout power. When he sits down on the punches, the concern is the gas tank. and how he can handle extended pressure. On the other hand, Jermaine Franklin, tough, durable, and battle-tested, he's fought high-level opposition, can go rounds without fading, and has solid chin. He doesn't have a fight-ending power at the elite level, but he has consistent with volume and can make a big man like Ditchko work. My prediction, early on, Ditchko's size, jab, and power should control things, but if Franklin can drag this into the middle and late rounds, he could start to making it an ugly fight and chip away. Still, the lean is Ditchko by a decision here. Next fight on the card we have is Shuri Burchak versus Brandon Adams. Shuri Burchak, a pure pressure fighter, he comes forward non-stop, throws heavy combinations and wears guys down with his volume and power. His chin has been tested before, but the style is all about overwhelming opponents and not letting them breathe. On the other hand, Brandon Adams, more of a slick, compact boxer / puncher. He's got good timing, counters well, and he carries enough power to punish reckless pressure. The key for him is staying disciplined, picking spots, and not getting smothered by Chuck's entrance. Prediction: Adams has the tools to make Burchak pay if he keeps the fight tactical, but Burchak's relentless pace and power tends to break down opponents who can't hurt him back consistently. I'm leaning towards Shuri Burchak by a decision here. Next fight on the card we have is Muhammad Akil versus John O'Nilas. Muhammad Akil, a high-energy pressure fighter, likes to come forward with combinations and make the fight uncomfortable. He's durable, he has a strong engine, and thrives in exchanges. Sometimes he can get recklessly, which leaves him open for his counters. John O'Nilas, more of a disciplined boxer, he likes to use his jab, pick clean shots, and control the pace. He doesn't waste a lot of movement, and if he keeps the fight technical, he'll have the edge. Prediction: if O'Nilas can stick to fundamentals and keep Akil at bay, he can win rounds with precision. But if Akil drags him into a brawl, his volume and pressure could take over. I'm leaning towards Muhammad Akil by a decision here. Next fight on the card, we have Christian Mabili versus Lester Martinez for the interim WBC World Middleweight title. Christian Mabili, one of the most aggressive and relentless super middleweights out there. He throws with bad intentions every time, consistently applies pressure, and has high knockout rate. He does leave openings defensively because of the forward march, but very few can withstand. Lester Martinez, a dangerous puncher from Guadalajara, with real pop in both hands. He's explosive, has the underdog mentality, and comes in and looking to test Mabili's chin. The concern is his defensive and whether he can handle sustained pressure without fading. My prediction: Martinez is live early because of his power, but Mabili's pressure, bodywork, and non-stop pace should wear him down. I'm leaning towards Christian Mabili by TKO in the 4th round to retain the interim WBC title. Next fight on the card we have is Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas Jr. Callum Walsh, a rising Irish prospect with big punching power, a strong left hand, and an aggressive style. He likes to push forward and sets a higher pace and break opponents down with combinations. He's still leaning defensively, but his pressure and power makes him dangerous since the opening bell. Fernando Vargas Jr. carries the famous name and fights with a mix of boxing and grit. He's more composed than Walsh, likes to set up shots, and has been improving steadily. The big question is how he handles a relentless, heavy-handed opponent like Walsh at this stage of his career. Prediction: Vargas has the pedigree at some craft, but Walsh's intensity, volume, and power could overwhelm him if he can't slow the pace. I'm going to lean with Callum Walsh by TKO in the 6th round, though Vargas Jr. will likely have moments early. Now, for the big fight everyone's been wondering. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrance Crawford for the undisputed super middleweight title. The fight that everyone's been wanting, especially me. I've been wanting this fight for God knows how long. I cannot wait to see this. I'm just so excited for it. Anyway, with this one, I'm going to do a little special prediction. I'm going to predict round 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12, and then the outcome. Okay. Rounds 1 to 3, Crawford uses jabs, angles, and movement. Canelo pressures but can't land clean shots consistently. Crawford takes early rounds. Round 4 to 6, Canelo increases pressure, lands some body shots, but Crawford counters effectively. Close rounds, maybe split. Rounds 7 and 9, Canelo starts committing more. Crawford pivots, counters, and keeps distance. Crawford edges most rounds with accuracy. Rounds 10 to 12, Canelo may try a late surge, but Crawford's mobility and timing prevent clean damage. Crawford finishes strong. Outcome: Crawford wins a close tactical decision by using distant counters and smart movement. But it's a very, very fucking close fight, let's be honest. This is a close fight. And yes, I'm going with Terrance Bud Crawford by a decision here, because I love the way he fights. I think Canelo, he hasn't been looking the best at this moment, unfortunately. But Terrance Crawford, yes, he had that kind of upset win over Israel Madrimov, which, yeah, everyone was saying Israel probably won that fight. Yes, I could see the reason why, but I did think Terrance Crawford won that fight. And I mean, Canelo, he last fought William Scroll, and I think that was a decision win, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it was a decision. And then, Edgar Berlanga, Jamie Mangala, Jamel Charlo, John Ryder, Triple G, Dimitri Bivol, Caleb Plant. He's fought some of the best fighters. And I mean, Terrance Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's fought some of the best as well. Israel Madrimov, Errol Spence Jr., David Avician, Sean Porter, Cal Brook, Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez Jr., Felix Diaz, John Molina Jr. These people are really fucking good. And, yeah, both these fighters, I'm not going to hate on. Terrance Crawford, he's 41-0 with 31 KOs. Canelo Alvarez is, I'm pretty sure, is he 63-2. This is pro. So he's 63-2 with 39 KOs. Yeah, it could be a messy one here. I mean, Terrance Crawford got the knockout power over him by the looks of things. Well, yes, he hasn't lost. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Terrance Crawford here by a decision. And yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, why not Canelo? Canelo is the best. Da 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 da. I know he is. Don't get me wrong. He is one of the best super middleweight fighters I've seen to date, 100%. But Terrance Crawford, I think he has the edge over him. Yes, it's going to be a very, 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 very close fight, but I just think Terrance Crawford might just edge it out. And yeah, that's just my prediction. Terrance Crawford by decision. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed me predicting all the Canelo versus Crawford fights. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. It'll be a massive help. Thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.